Alhamdulillah. No. Alhamdulillah. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udhu billah min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillah fala mudilla lah wa man yudlil fala hadiya lah. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan 'abduhu wa rasuluh sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tamassak bi sunnatihi ila yawmiddin, amma ba'd. So today, inshallah, we wish to resume the lesson that we normally have on Friday, but normally we'll be doing the book Mukhtasar al-Sahih al-Bukhari by Zabidi rahimahullah, but inshallah we'll resume those lessons after Eid. So after Eid, we'll resume the lessons of Mukhtasar al-Sahih al-Bukhari and the lesson that we normally do on Fridays. But for today, inshallah, so as to somewhat try to benefit from the time and discuss certain matters that is being discussed. So let's try to somewhat to mention of things that are mentioned regarding this particular matter. And the matter we wish to discuss is a matter we find that as we're in the month of Dhul-Hijjah, and one of the virtues of the month of Dhul-Hijjah, and of those things regarding that actions are said to be, actions are referred to as most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the month of Dhul-Hijjah. So of those things that are discussed that will be facing this Dhul-Hijjah is the matter pertaining to fasting Yawm-ul Arafah, but it's so as this year coincide with Sabt. So we have a case regarding Yawm-ul Arafah this year that it coincide on a Saturday. So the discussion between the ulama regarding is it permissible for one to fast and Yawm Sabt outside a compulsory siyam. So that will be the issue of our discussion today, inshallah. Kind of somewhat to have a brief discussion on this particular matter and mention as to what have been mentioned in brief by some of the ulama on this particular matter. So bear in mind as we discuss concerning, so also to take into account that regarding concerning masahil that are discussed regarding masahil al-fiqhiyya. So masahil al-fiqhiyya that are discussed, that they fall into two categories. Those masahil al-fiqhiyya that are said to be muttafaqun alayhi, or there's an ijma' between the ulama. So in masahil al-fiqhiyya that are discussed, either those masail or those mas'ala that are being discussed, either the ulama are in agreement on those mas'ala and called ijma'. So the ijma' have been established on that matter, then everyone fall in line with that view. So the ulama all agree upon a particular position, then it's not for anyone to go against that view. So that's referred to as ijma'. So regarding concerning case of ijma' between the ulama, and the matter of ijma', it's a matter that goes back to the ulama to look at, and if they all come to the same conclusion and take the same position on a particular matter, then that will form what is referred to as ijma'. If that ijma' has been established, and the thing with the claims of ijma' is to verify whether they have been to verify whether it is something that has been established or not. But if that case of ijma' has been established, then upon the Muslim that they should fall in line and take that particular view, and not for anyone to go against it. It's not for anyone to go against an ijma' to do so. To go against ijma', then that's something which is a serious matter. It's a serious matter for a person to go against an ijma' that have been established. And also with this, you find books that have been books that specifically discuss these matters concerning ijma'. So some of the ulama have books that have been written on this topic, where they try to mention those masahil that are referred to as ijma'. Then the second type of masail that are discussed is masail muttafaqun, that it is mukhtalifun fi. Those masail that there's a difference between the ulama. So you find those masail where there's a difference between the ulama on those particular masail. So what's the approach that we should have on those masail? One, regarding those masail where the ulama have a khilaf between themselves on that matter, where the ulama have a khilaf on that matter, then in looking at those matters, that one, we should not see those masail where the ulama have a difference on those matters where the ulama differ on those matters, where it becomes a matter of wala wal bara. So also, and a person may at times, so at those matters, it should not be a matter where wala wal bara, those who are of my view, I give them complete wala, love, and respect, and brotherhood, and those who may disagree with that position, then I see them as the enemy. They're upon the opposite side. So either you're with me on that matter, or you're against me. So matters concerning ikhtilaf bain al-ulama, concerning ikhtilaf al-mu'tabar, those ikhtilaf that they have a standing that one should not approach those matters regarding al-wala wal-bara. Second, those matters where the ulama have a khilaf between themselves, where the ulama of the past or of present, where one, especially those matters that have been discussed by the ulama of the Salaf and the past, not to see the position that I may take to be the position of the Salaf, and kind of somewhat make it seems that the position that I may take, that is what is represented the matter of the Salaf, when we know that there is a khilaf between the ulama on that matter, even from the ulama of Qadim. So not to make those matters as a way to make to kind of somewhat to claim that one particular view represents that of the Salaf, while the other view does not, when the reality is not the case. That reality is not the case. So Salafiyya is not dependent upon these masail. Next of those masail, that is khilaf bin ulama, that of those things that one have to pay attention to is regarding tahdeed al-mahal al-niza. So the person in those masail where the ulama have a khilaf between themselves, of those things that one have to be precise, is of those the thing that where the person have to take into account is being able to tahdeed, where you can pinpoint the area, the specific area where the ulama have a khilaf on that matter. So know exactly what's the point, where the point of difference between the ulama. As they say, mahal al-niza, tahdeed, mahal al-niza, knowing exactly on what point the ulama differ on, and not to take it beyond this. Second of those matters, on those masail al-khilaf bin ulama, that was said masahil mu'tabar. Because something about a khilaf on the ulama that is not mu'tabar. And there's cases where it is mu'tabar, it is somewhat, it has a bearing. It has a bearing. Of the things where the khilaf between ulama, of the thing to take in, the thing that we should look at is focus on the adillah. لِكُلِّ قَوْلٍ. What's the evidence that have been provided by each group concerning each position that have been taken by the ulama, being able to look to see what's the evidence for each of the position taken. So it's not about the alim that comes next, but of those focus is knowing the adillah used by each of the opinions. Then and also to scrutinize those adillah that are used, or to critique also the adillah. The second of those matter is regarding concerning in the matter of khilaf, of those things to look concerning that, look to see قائل كل قول, or the ulama who have taken that position, or the ulama who have taken that position. By way of, we said the ulama, and we not mean concerning any alim. So regarding concerning, we are not, so it's to ensure that the person who have taken this position is from the ulama, not from the tullab al-ilm, not from the mashaykh. So in matters of khilaf, put us, so is to be able to point out who are those ulama al-kibar that is of this position. As for concerning the mashaykh, then as for their khilaf on matters or their position, it shouldn't raise to the level where we have to, that should be raised to a certain degree, as their qawl has to be taken into consideration where it is not per se, well put in its proper perspective and proper place. So the main issue sort of the focus that the ulama who are of this position, they're from the kibar ulama, not from the sighar ulama. So not to overly busy ourselves with khilaf between mashaykh who are not from the kibar, but focus on the khilaf between the kibar of the ulama. So is being able to identify that alim is actually from the ulama al-mujtahid. Is that alim who have taken this position and we're disputing on this topic or this masala, is the ulama from this who have taken this position, are they from the ulama al-mujtahidun? If they are not, then, as I said, not to overly emphasize those issues and grandialize those issues. So the ulama, so is knowing the qa'il by way of those ulama, knowing them by way are they from the kibar ulama and the people, the ulama of ijtihad, and that would not apply to everyone who's said to be an alim or from the mashaykh. So knowing the position of that, the ulama. So that's concerning those masail. And the next matter is regarding ad-dirasa wal bath. That concerning if a person wants to kind of somewhat take a position and take a stance, then the person is required to have looked into the matter and investigate the matter, where the person is able to look at the aqwal, the adillah, and also the munaqasha regarding each position, and then come to what he believes to be qawlu raja, the qawl that is the more correct view on the matter. So that's concerning the method regarding approaching matter that's said to be khilaf bin ulama. So one, as we mentioned, no, is that matter a legitimate khilaf between the ulama? No, Abid can identify the point, the area of khilaf between the ulama on that masala. Third, who are the ulama who take this position, but those ulama, are they from the kibar ulama, who have the highest level? And also, as we mentioned, that the person now who look at that matter, who's aware of this matter, that you have done some research on the topic. Not just because you heard the fatwa of one alim saying that that's my position, they believe that's the only position, and the position that you're going to somewhat see it as the correct position, even though you're not aware of the other positions. So not to be the one to kind of somewhat to take on a position in a rigid way, not knowing the other opinion on the matter. So those are the things to take into account. So I said the person needs to have studied the matter, looked into matter into some depth, based upon the person level of being able to research the matter. But so we said that of those matters that are being discussed, and especially we said in our time that have been covered, is the matter regarding Yawm-ul Sabt. Is it the fasting on a Saturday? In Figar Farida, in a non-compulsory siyam. So siyam, Yawm-ul Sabt, the permissibility of fasting on Yawm-ul Sabt. And we said this kind of somewhat, it applies to us by way of, and cases of this have repeated and may repeat itself in the future, regarding that in this year, in this month of Dhul-Hijjah, that started today or yesterday, that Yawm al-Arafah would be next Saturday. So the issue is it allowed for one to fast Yawm al-Arafah that coincide with Saturday? Is allowed for a person to fast that day? So we're not looking at issue regarding you or me. We're looking at issue regarding what have been mentioned by way of adillah to Shari'ah on this matter, and what have been said by the ulama. So we're not looking at our own personal case, but we're looking concerning one, what have been mentioned by way of adillah, and also the aqwal of the ulama, and what is the stance and position taken by the ulama. So we're looking at it from that perspective. Now, so of those things to outline, that of that matter, that it had been covered by the ulama and the mashaykh of our time. So this matter have been somewhat been addressed by, we said that no, from the ulama and also from the talabat al-ilm of our time. So many rasail have been written and discussion on this matter. And the reason why this matter kind of somewhat have come up in our contemporary time is that we find one of the ulama, Shaykh Muhammad Nasiruddin al-Albani rahimahullah, that somewhat have taken the position that it is not allowed for a person to fast on Saturday except in the case of a compulsory fast. Even, I said mutlaqa, whether it coincide with a legitimate fast or not. So from then the matter of somewhat being discussed. With me, ikhwan? So that become now the reason why this matter been discussed. We'll find that in practicality, that we'll find certain legitimate fasts have and will coincide with Yawm al-Sabt, which is Saturday. What is to be done? Not fast. For example, we said Arafah, or for example Ashura may coincide with Yawm al-Sabt. Are we not allowed to fast those days, even though those days are fast and are mustahab? So what to be done? Based upon Sheikh Albani view, you're not allowed.
Even if it falls on the day of Arafah.
Them says, so, his view, any fast. So for example, if Arafah was to coincide with a Saturday, you're not to fast Saturday, you're not to fast Arafah. Clear? Or Ashura, or any other, we said fast that is recommended. So that now become the issue. The issue is clear. So I said that of the thing we're going to discuss about is Tahdeed al-Mahall al-Khilaf. So we'll see also what have been said by the ulama and how the matter have been approached. So I said of those who have discussed the matter, we said that Sheikh Albani rahimahullah, of those who have mentioned about this matter, and since then the matter become one that have been looked into and been discussed. So of those, to show concerning how many the books that have been written that you can find online or in print, that they mention a list of some of the books that have been written on this topic. That I mentioned over 17 or more. So of those that have written on the topic, that we don't mention all but just some. Al-Qawl al-Sabt fi Sawm Yawm-ul Sabt. They said mention that the Quran said Ibn Hajar, but it said mafqud. It is that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah have discussed this matter. I've yet to find his risala, but it may be available, but I haven't found it myself. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah have wrote on that matter. Then you have another book by Sheikh Ali Hassan al-Halabi rahimahullah, where he meant Zahratul Rawd في حكم صيام يوم السبت في غير الفرض لشيخ علي Hassan al-Halabi rahimahullah ta'ala, who's one of the main students of Sheikh Albani. That book is online, can be found. So it is online that can be found, and the book is matbu'. So that is Sheikh Ali. And regarding that matter, then another book that have been written, that تحقيق الثبت لما وردت في صيام يوم السبت لعبد الله ibn Abdul Rahman Ramazi. Not sure, but as mentioned, also you have a Siyam Yawm Hukum Siyam Yawm Sabt by Abu Shakra. Also of those that have been written on the topic, Al-Qawl Al-Thabt fi Hukum Siyam Sabt. And one of the Mashaykh from which is Muhammad al-Najdi, one of the Mashaykh from Kuwait, that al-Najdi have written on that topic. Also of those we have Hukum Sawm Yawm al-Sabt fi Ghayr al-Farida, and that is by Sheikh Saad Humayd. So Saad Humayd. So you have others who have written, and you have others who have written on that topic. Now, of those works that we have mentioned, like the ones that are more hadith based, so you find the one by Sheikh Saad Humayd is a specialist in hadith, so his approach is more hadithiyah. Bringing the hadith and discussing regarding that particular hadith. And others who have written on that matter. And others, you have As-Siyam Yawm al-Sabt fi Ghayr al-Fard wa Aqwal al-Ulama fi, which is of those who have written on that matter. Also, you have another one which is more hadithiyah, Ijtihad al-Bat binakarat hadith la tasum Yawm al-Sabt. So that kind of somewhat, which is by Muhammad Ziyad al-Tukla. Also, that one is more hadithiyah. When it's a hadithiyah, meaning that they discuss the matter in detail from a perspective by a way of looking at the hadith that have been mentioned and critiquing that hadith and passing a judgment on the hadith.
Do they take the same position as Sheikh Abba? Do they all them books you mentioned, do they take the same position?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Now what was mentioned concerning the works on the topic. So most of the works that what I've seen that did not agree with Sheikh Albani. So concerned, most of those who have written on the topic, their conclusion per se, not that they agree with Sheikh Albani rahimahullah. Like for example, the Sheikh by Sheikh Muhammad al-Najdi, who is Kuwaiti or live in Kuwait, that he agrees with Sheikh Albani regarding the hukum on the hadith, but disagree regarding the fiqh outcome, regarding concern the understanding. So you find those type of cases of those who that have a discussion. So you have discussion also, for example, Sheikh Abdul Bari al-Ansari, that also have wrote on the paper where he mentioned discussion regarding, as I said, the matter go into various things regarding of this. So with this matter, you have, as I said, we're just listing some of the works on the topic. Now, we're listing some of the works on the topic. So, as I said, this topic I've drawn attention by many of the Shaykh. Now, so you find many of the Shaykh that Shaykh bin Baz have some work on it. So that this topic I've drawn attention of most of the lot of the Shaykh or Talabat al-Ilm regarding writing books, writing papers on this topic specifically. So it's not just, as I said, so if you read, for example, Sheikh Ali Hassan, rahimahullah, work is more inclined towards the view of maybe Sheikh Albani. But said most of the other works may not. But we said for the Talib al-Ilm is to gather, is to see concerning front, those who have written on the topic, to see how much, to read as much as possible on the topic, to get a different, because different authors on this topic, those who have researches on this topic, have different approach. The approach is more hadithiyah, discuss the matter from a way of bringing a hadith, and some more fiqhiyah. So you have that, so have that balance. But also that of the things in these masail, not just to read just one book on the topic, when there's, as I said, over 15 works on the topic. Because that one might give you one perspective. And especially, so to say this, so to look from the various works that are there to get a general understanding, a wide range approach on how the matter is looked at and approached by the different mashaykh who have written on this matter. Another thing that to be mindful of on these matters that we said is on the discussion. So, of those works that you have those who have discussed the matter by way of the hadith and the contention that they, so we'll go to some of those who have discussed the matter. So on this matter regarding the next one concerned Adur al-Saniyah, which is also like a website but have good research, have some nice research on that on their site. That is Adur al-Saniyah. They have a work that is called Hukum Siyam Yawm-ul-Sabt fi ghayr al-Fard. That hukum, the ruling on fasting Yawm-ul-Sabt in other than non-compulsory fast. So they kind of somewhat discuss the matter. They go into, so we kind of somewhat use it as the premise of our discussion. Taib. Bear in mind, so you have one, he mentioned that Tahrir Mahal and Niza. So in looking at this matter, it's to know exactly what are the area in which the ulama differ on. So what is the area of discussion, the point of discussion regarding this masala? So he mentioned regarding concern this matter, that as a general thing regarding, he discussed concern the virtue of siyam in general. So we won't go into concern the virtue of siyam, that is well known. Then discuss concerning that his position somewhat clear from his approach. We won't go and understand his approach or what we leave, but his approach or view is somewhat clear as to his standpoint. But he mentioned regarding concerning some fasting, you have certain areas where the ijma between the ulama, where it is not allowed for a person to fast. So the ijma regarding anna as-siyam yawm al-fitr wa yawm al-nahr la yajuz. So fasting, we said Eid days is not allowed. So it's not allowed. So the person wants to, you have a day to make up after Ramadan. It's still not allowed for you to do it on Yawm al-Eid. So Yawm al-Eid is not allowed under any circumstance for a person to fast. So that is agreement on between the ulama. We said Eid. So whatever Eid falls on. So at the fact that it's Yawm al-Eid, what that name says, so if Eid coincides with Jummah, then it's not allowed because it's Yawm al-Eid. Clear? Not necessarily because it's Yawm al-Jummah. But in this case it is because of Yawm al-Eid. So whatever day Eid falls on, it's not allowed for the person to fast. Then make you kind of somewhat that so the area of no difference between the ulama they discuss ifrad, siyam, yawm al-sabt, or takhsisi, bisiyam. That also regarding concern a person, you have two issues: fasting yawm al-sabt by itself, and also by itself, and so that's of the issue that is being discussed. Of the ulama discuss, is it then also allowed for a person to fast Sabt and the day before and the day after? So said the view of Sheikh Albani regards not the person is not allowed to fast Yawm al-Sabt at all. He's not allowed to fast Yawm al-Sabt at all. Now, so regardless of circumstance, you are not to fast Yawm al-Sabt for other than a compulsory siyam, which will be Ramadan. Taib. So that's concerning the issue that is being discussed. So I said the issue regarding concerning for us this year, that Yawm al-Arafah will be an Sabt. So what to be done in that case? Is the person allowed to fast Arafah on its own, which will coincide with Saturday? Or in this case, he cannot fast the day after because it will be Yawm al-Eid. So he left to fast what? The day before, which will be Yawm al-Jum'ah. But the person unable to fast, combined between Sabt wal Jum'ah, is he allowed to fast Yawm al-Sabt by itself because it is Arafah? Now, we said according to Sheikh Albani, according to some view, it is not allowed. They mentioned regarding concerning the evidence that become the hadith that is, they said, under discussion. The hadith that is under discussion, where the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ they mentioned the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. That hadith is narrated on Abdullah ibn Busr رضي الله عنه مرفوعا النبي عليه السلام قال لا تصوموا يوم السبت, that you are not allowed to fast يوم السبت. لا تصوموا يوم السبت, you are not to fast يوم السبت إلا فيما افترضت, except for that which is compulsory. عليكم, compulsory upon you. فإن لم يجد أحدكم, if any of you does not find إلا لها الشجر, if you don't find concerning the root of the tree, فَيَبْغُضُ, then you should suck from it or eat from it. So the hadith mentioned, the shahid mentioned, لا تصوموا يوم السبت. Nam, so I said the shahid, you are not to fast يوم السبت. So Shaykh and I mentioned that this hadith, that now this particular hadith now become the basis of this view. The hadith in the Abu Dawood, Ahmed and others. Ibn Majah, لا تصوموا يوم السبت. So hadith in the, so based upon this particular hadith that's being now discussed, then one, Shaykh Albani rahimahullah, all the hadith to be sahih. So he has authenticated the hadith. So based upon, then he has come to the conclusion that based upon here, لا تصوموا يوم السبت. So the hadith is very explicit and clear regarding you are not to fast Yawm al-Sabt. Illa, except that has been compulsory upon you. So anything which is non-compulsory, that coincide, that falls on Yawm al-Sabt, on Saturday, you are not allowed to fast. Because the hadith is explicit. لا تصوموا, not to fast what? On a Saturday, illa ma uftur alaykum, except that which has been made compulsory upon you. So anything which is non-compulsory, that falls on a Saturday, is not to be done.
Question I'm asking. So when they say la tasumu yawm sabt, they mean sabt by itself or with another day, or sabt yani
Sabran Jamil. Wait. So I said no. So I said first understand. So we sent it up. But so is the view of those that mention if you're not to fast what? Saturday. Nam, I said except for a compulsory fast. So anything which is non-compulsory that happens to coincide with Saturday, but is a fasting which is recommended. Arafah, Ashura, what else? And the likes.
3 white days.
The 3 white days. So the fact that anything that coincides with Friday, with Saturday, is not to be done. Now, so that's the position that they have said, let's say mutlaqa, in any case and circumstance. Taib. So that's the position now become now, the part that becomes now the area of discussion. Is it a complete no for one to fast on a Saturday? Even if it coincides with a recommended fast. With me, Ikhwan? So that now becomes now the discussion. Now, so as we said, one, the hadith itself, we said that Shaykh Albani rahimahullah, all the hadith to be authentic. And Shaykh Albani rahimahullah, of those who are known to be, of those who especially in Ibn hadith, and of authentic, and he has his own collection of hadith, now which is well known. So of those of our contemporary times, Shaykh Albani rahimahullah, of those who specialize in ilm hadith, also he has passed judgment on many hadith. He has passed judgment on many hadith. No one in contemporary times have passed more judgment on hadith than Shaykh Albani. Whether hadith being authentic or not being authentic. No one in our contemporary time equals Shaykh Albani on this. Taib. But so Shaykh Albani said, specialized in that field and have passed his own judgment on many hadith. But we said that passing judgment hadith is still in some hadith a matter of ijtihad. Meaning, matter of passing judgment on hadith also a matter of ijtihad. At times he may get it right and at times he may get it what? Incorrect. He's not ma'soom. But you have a trend among some that we find that any hadith that Shaykh Albani passes judgment upon, they take it as khalas. And they don't review or cross-reference with others that I see as is not a system that I personally follow and adhere to. Personally, I do not adhere to that system. That because of Shaykh Albani or anyone of contemporary time past our hadith, that I have to adhere to his judgment in everything that he says. I don't believe in this. I'tiqadan, I don't believe in this. And that applies to Shaykh Albani, that applies to Shaykh Muqbil and any others. Now, but said you have of those who anything that Shaykh Albani rahimahullah passed a judgment on, khalas. And for you to question it is a problem. And the person said, who are you? We are nothing like Shaykh Albani, so we're going to answer that question for you. We are nothing like Shaykh Albani. But we have ulama before Shaykh Albani equal to Shaykh Albani. So we cannot ignore their judgment. So we are measuring Shaykh Albani with ulama who are equally qualified like him. Of those who are his contemporary, and also those before him, and also people who are qualified after him. That's our scale that we follow. And I believe that's a reasonable approach and a balanced approach. Because we can't make taqleed of no one in matters. If we say we don't make taqleed, it applies in all matters. Taqleed of blind following. So why I'm going to say I don't make taqleed of Abu Hanifa, Malik and Shafi and Ahmed, and Ahmed compared to Shaykh Albani, Ahmed is alim in hadith. He have judgment that if we can't make taqleed upon him, I'm going to make taqleed upon someone who came after him. With me? So if we apply the rule of taqleed to the ulama of Qudama from the Salaf, then the ulama of the Salih al-Khalaf, then even more so we can't make taqleed of them. With me? So we said with Shaykh Albani, the like with Shaykh Muqbil, with Shaykh Arnaout and whoever else, Ahmed Shakir and those ulama of contemporary times who have known to pass judgment in hadith, that we compare what they say with ulama of their time and those even before them and those even after them. If we have access to those information. With me, Ikhwan? So said along with this matter, that was said that Sheikh Albani, yes, he comes to his judgment, that's his judgment. And those who agree with him, then no problem, you agree with him. But we will compare regarding, okay, this hadith, what have been said by this hadith by other than Sheikh Albani. This particular hadith that we're discussing about لا تصوموا يوم السبت, as this hadith been discussed by the ulama before Sheikh Albani, because if we're Salafi, and we follow the way of the Salaf al-Salih, after ulama of the Salaf who have spoken about this hadith. So that now becomes the thing. So of those you have Sheikh Abdul Bari, Ibn Hamad Ansari, one of the Sheikh from Al-Medina, and his father known to be on the Kibar concerning Ibn Hadith, that he had a quick thing that he mentioned. We can somewhat to summarize regarding concerning this particular hadith that had been mentioned, that we said Sheikh Albani, you have a khilaf between the ulama and the hadith. On this hadith, there's a khilaf and the judgment on this hadith. Sheikh Albani, rahimahullah, all hadith to be what? Authentic. That's his judgment. Then you have others who all hadith to be either shadh. That's one of the terms used in ilm al-hadith, indicating the hadith is weak. So we're going to a long discussion about what is shadh, but shadh is a terminology that is used in ilm al-hadith. When it is used, it means the hadith is weak. With me? It has its own rules. Besides the more technical matters, and even the word concerning shadh, that you find that even how it is used by the latter day scholars also needs to be, it is used in a very restricted way. When the ulama of the qudama of ulama hadith never used in that very restricted way. Meaning, how the word shadh is a terminology used in ilm al-hadith. With me? But how is misal hadith like shadh, but how it is used by the latter day scholar of ulama hadith, they use in a very restrictive way, while others before use it beyond how it is now, how it is used by those who came after. With me? Understand that? Okay. So shadh become very restrictive how it is used before the ulama use it beyond how it is used today. So you find that a hadith that is said to be, ulama said to be shadh, others may hold to be authentic because of how it is used in latter day time. So Sheikh Abdul Bari, he mentioned regarding concerning this hadith, that of the aqwal of the ulama, he mentioned one, what have been said by this hadith. So he mentioned one, قال Imam Muhammad ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, Muhammad ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, one of the kibar ulama of hadith. He died 124. قال ليث بن سعد كان ابن شهاب إذا ذكر له أنه نهى عن صيام يوم السبت يقول. So it is said by Layth ibn Sa'd that Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri rahimahullah, when it is mentioned to him about it is forbidden to fast يوم السبت, يقول, meaning Ibn Shihab would say هذا حديث حمصي, that hadith is حمصي. Now what does it mean by حمصي? Now they mention يعني إمسي هذا حديث حمصي أنه غير معروف and غير أهل الإمس, that this hadith is somewhat is not known except for the people of Hims. Where they mention it in a summary concerning وأنهم تفرد به, that they are the only ones who narrate this hadith. So the hadith is only known from those people. So when it says hadith al-himsi in a form of saying the hadith, as I said, that mention is not, that saying the hadith adam al-thubut is not hadith which is authentic. Clear? So when it says hadith al-himsi, when it is what is actually indicated, the hadith is only known to them, so the hadith is only known to them, not to others. So you see that this was in a way of indicating the hadith is, as I mentioned here, that mentioned that the hadith is says, as mentioned by At-Tahawi rahimahullah, قال بعد ركضهم فلم يعد سورة hadith وقال فيه به وضعفه, that he can somewhat all the hadith to be daif. So Zuhri kind of somewhat indicating that the hadith is daif. So he's of those of those kind of somewhat alluded to the hadith being what? Weak. Then أتى أديم الباري قال هذا حديث حمصي يريد تضعيفه. So in the book Yawm-ul Nam, which is the explanation of Sunnah Abu Dawood, bear in mind that so Yawm-ul by Adim al-Badi, that one of the explanations of Yawm-ul-Ma'bud, the explanation of Abu Dawood, Sunnah Abu Dawood, but he mentioned that, clarify regarding what is meant by Al-Himsi, and he mentioned that Al-Himsi yurid, what is meant by this, or what he indicate, tad'ifu, that the hadith is weak. That's what the ulama understand regarding Az-Zuhri, saying Himsi, the hadith is what? In a nutshell, meaning hadith da'if. So of those who da'afa had a hadith, that is Az-Zuhri. Nam, then they mention second قول إمام أهل الشام في زمان عبد الرحمن ibn Amr Awza'i. So Imam Awza'i rahimahullah, who died 157. And these are the kibar ulama al-hadith wal fiqh. As Awza'i rahimahullah, he mentioned قال rahimahullah ما زلت له كاتما حتى رأيته تنتشر، يعني أنه كان لا تحدث لا زلت له كاتما. مثلا he used to hide this hadith, he used to kind of somewhat conceal this hadith. Now that they mention based upon لا يحدث بهذا حديث لاستنكاري, that he used to not mention this hadith because he opposed this hadith, meaning that no, he owed the hadith not to be authentic. So Awza'i would not narrate this hadith because he objected to this hadith, that he owed the hadith to have some weakness. They mention إلا لو كان صحيحا عنده لما جاز له كتمانه. If all the hadith to be something which was authentic, he would not see it as something to be concealed, to be hidden. Clear? So that's concerning Awza'i, indicating that this hadith is da'if. Third, Imam Malik ibn Anas, who died 179. That's third. Imam Malik ibn Anas, يعني إمام مالك رحمه الله معروف. نعم. قال مالك رحمه الله قال رحمه الله هذا كذب. هذا كذب، يعني في سنة أبي داود بعد حديث, after this hadith he mentioned هذا كذب, that is said this is like lie, either meant lie, the ulama consider it mean كذب, lie, or something about hadith, something with the word كذب meaning that khata, something is an error. Nam. Then I mentioned that فقال regarding concerning what is meant by this هذا, they said this is the more severe هذا or هذه أشد القولة قيلت في الحديث. This is the more severe of the aqwal that we mentioned regarding this hadith. So the more sternest view regarding this hadith is that of Imam Malik rahimahullah قال هذا كذب. Nam. So they mentioned that why مخالفته, because it goes against many hadith that are authentic. That this hadith goes against many hadith that are authentic regarding fasting, Sabt, and either the day before or day other than it. Then I mentioned الرابع Imam Yahya ibn Sa'id Qahtan. Imam Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qahtan, also the kibar ulama of hadith of the past, who died 198. So these are the ulama of the Salaf themselves. Nam. So we have Imam Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qahtan rahimahullah, also the kibar ulama of hadith. Now that speak about hadith. Nam. قال إمام أحمد رحمه الله أن هذا حديث كان يحيى بن سعيد يعني قحطان يتقيه. He used to somewhat avoid this hadith. يتقيه, he used to avoid this hadith. يعني وأبى أن يحدثني به. And also he used to caution me about narrating this hadith. This Ahmad bin Hanbal saying this about Qahtan, Imam Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qahtan, the Ahmad rahimahullah, so that Imam, which is one of his teacher, would forbid him from narrating this hadith. خامس of those who have spoken about this hadith, Imam Abu Dawood as-Sijistani rahimahullah. Imam Abu Dawood as-Sijistani, Sahib as-Sunan. قال رحمه الله هذا حديث منسوخ. So when he narrated this hadith, he mentioned هذا حديث منسوخ. That hadith is abrogated. So in this context, so al-mansukh you could take the understanding that the hadith to be authentic, but as for the ruling, it is abrogated. It is abrogated because many hadith that goes opposite to what is mentioned in this hadith. So in order to be something which is mansukh. And also النسائي رحمه الله, Imam النسائي رحمه الله قال هذا حديث مضطرب. هذا حديث مضطرب. So again, النسائي رحمه الله, one of ulama, kibar ulama of hadith and grading of hadith. To the extent they said, his book النسائي, his book regarding his strength is equal to that of Sahih Muslim. But Nasai rahimahullah, that at times will criticize hadith that you have mentioned regarding هذا حديث مضطرب. That hadith of مضطرب is a terminology used in hadith concerning that hadith also indicating hadith is weak. We find certain differences where there's differences we cannot reconcile those differences. So you have some difference in the hadith, we cannot reconcile the difference of the hadith regarding some narrators. So if you're unable to reconcile the difference, you're able to put everything together, then consider to be muttarib, where the hadith then becomes rejected. Because the differences that is in the hadith, you cannot reconcile it. So those aqwal of the ulama pertain to this hadith. And those said, those from the a'immat al-kibar. A'imma al-kibar. Also, Abu Ja'far, Imam Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi, knows concerning Aqidah Tahawiyah. Also is of those ulama. Before he was Shafi'i, and then he became Hanafi. So al-Tahawi, before he was Shafi'i, then he changed his madhab to become Hanafi. And the book that he wrote after Sharh Muskala, you can go in line with Hanafi type of approach. Then I mentioned, Tahawi rahimahullah mentioned, Al-Athar مروية في إباحة صوم يوم السبت تطوعا اشتهر وأظهر من هذا حديث شاذ. We mentioned من هذا حديث شاذ, meaning hadith that says you are not. So I mentioned concerning that آثار مروية, those narration, آثار meaning it means hadith. So آثار in this context it means hadith. في إباحة صوم يوم السبت تطوعا أشهر وأظهر, that a hadith that mentions about the permissibility of fasting Yawm-ul Sabt tatawwahan as a voluntary act is mentioned. Hashar, it is more well known, wa adhar, and more direct and more to the point. Min hadha hadith shad, from this hadith with the shad with the one that we're discussing, the hadith of not to fast Yawm-ul Sabt alladhi qad khalafaha, which have gone against this. So his view is that the hadith is shadh. At-Tahawi rahimahullah. So those are of the aqwal of the ulama regarding concerning this matter, and also of contemporary Shaykh bin Baz and the likes, Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, that also they of a different of that. So of those ulama of hadith of kibar, or ulama of kibar regarding that matter. Aywa. I don't know. Some said, so maybe he's aware of it, but Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah will come to his own conclusion. Now he come to his own conclusion. Yes, he may be aware of those things, but at the end of the day, he will come to his own conclusion. For us, it's just us being aware of what have been mentioned by the ulama. As for each alim, as for sometimes they may be aware and sometimes they may not be aware. So the thing that, but he will come to his own conclusion, and at times that, just said that. So at times he said at the end he will come to his own conclusion. Sometimes the thing that have been mentioned that, so he will come to his own conclusion. Shaykh Al-Albani will come to his own conclusion, and that's the right about any person, the alim in hadith. Then they have to study hadith themselves and come to their own conclusion. But yes, they should be aware of what has been mentioned before. Now, sometimes they may be aware of it and sometimes they may not be aware of this. Now,
Before his time, the question is
before his time.
before Sheikh Albani, during the time of, for example, the ulama you mentioned, are there any ulama that have mentioned that okay, they follow the what's it called, what Sheikh Albani said?
The what? The
Sheikh
position?
Albani said, nah, the position of Sheikh Albani.
No, sir.
It's a new position.
No, sir.
entirely.
Okay, so first we discuss concerning what has been said by the hadith. As so, the aqwal of the ulama on the hadith. So that's the first thing, and you might find others who may agree with Sheikh Albani regarding the hukum. So I said, of the thing that to know that there are those who authenticate the hadith, but also of those who said different. And what have been mentioned regarding their view on the hadith. So that's the first thing to be. So can I someone to open our mind that the hadith is under discussion. So the main thing to know that yes, there are those who authenticate hadith, but those who may not authenticate the hadith. So just being aware of this. Now, so for the person who have that knowledge of ilm hadith, for them to look into the matter further, because there's a discussion under the hukum on the hadith. Now, so a person might get us also why those whose hadith is muttarib, shadh, what else we had mentioned, that hada kadhab, why are they saying these things? So many have to study hadith and look to each and every narrator and what have been said about them. So if Abdul said hadith mansukh, indicates that he may all the hadith that it is are authentic hadith, but as for the ahkam, it is not applicable. The hadith have been abrogated and replaced with a different ruling. But it shows there's a discussion regarding the hadith itself, on its authenticity. Plus, bear in mind that we find that, so of those who came after, who have done certain research on hadith, that information that was maybe available to Sheikh Albani, that became available for those who came after. Because you find concerning ilm al-hadith, you understand the last 15 years, there are a lot of information that have come out and books that were not available 25 years ago, that's now available today. So you also have information that were not present years ago, are now of recent available. Tayyib? So said general concern, the person who look at the matter can answer at the first, understand what's the state, what have been said by the ulama on the hadith. Now the second matter now is regarding the fiqh of the hadith. Now that becomes now the next issue. The fiqh of the hadith. What do we understand and apply that hadith in context with other hadiths? So as we said that of those who can somewhat have taken a position that this hadith, it is the hadith that supersede where it is la tasumu yawm sabt. You are not allowed to fast yawm sabt mutlaqa. Under no circumstance, Sheikh the view that you are not allowed to fast Yawm Sabt. Under no circumstance. That will mean Sabt the day before and the day after with it. Because you're not allowed to fast Yawm Sabt in no circumstance. That's what comes with that understanding. With me? So, with that understanding, you're not allowed, if, for example, of legitimate fast, even that position, you're not allowed to the day before with it or the day after with it. Because you're not allowed to fast on Sabt under no circumstance. Clear? So that now become of the idea that are used concerned that at the time you find many evidence in that where the Prophet gave allowance for people to fast the day before or the day after with Yawm Sabt. There's many hadith on that topic that show that if that is there, then it shows that how we reconcile between permissibility to fast Sabt with another day, and saying that you're not allowed at all. So that becomes now the issue. So you find that we said that, so that becomes the thing regarding this view that they mention. That also they mentioned that with this view of sometimes to bear in mind that of the ulama of contemporary times, that take the position that the view taken by Sheikh Albani said is a qawl shadh. Qawl shadh is used by the fuqaha also to mean that alim in that matter of fiqh have taken a position, but that view is an odd position that no one else agrees with. So like a single alim have taken a position, but there's no one else that agrees with that position. So they said qawl shadh, that your position is shadh, you're going against everyone else. So you find Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Barraq, one of the ulama of contemporary times, that all concerned that I've described Sheikh Albani rahimahullah that view as shadh. That's an odd view, because no one else agree with that view. Once I agree with that view, I'm saying put aside those people say we are tulabul ilm. Your view don't count. You with me? Talibul ilm in these masail, your view has no bearing on the matter. Because sometimes we say, bear this in mind, in these matters, talibul ilm or duat, what you have to say, it does not count. And you must know that and know your place. And we must know their place. And sometimes when matters become confusing, bring all the students of this person, it doesn't matter because they are not the people who their qawl means anything. In this matter, it doesn't carry any weight. So if you're the sheikh of a doctorate, Jazakallah khair, you're a sheikh who can benefit from you. But in this matter, your view doesn't really change the scale of things. It doesn't add to the scale of things. Because sometimes people said, in matters, this sheikh said this position, who's with him? Because they want to add numbers, but really, the names you mentioned, they are not people who really, in most part, just agree with the sheikh. But their view independently doesn't really change anything. Yes, adding numbers, but those numbers doesn't really add much to the case. And that sometimes we have to be mindful of that. Mention name of sheikh. Okay, that sheikh, but he's mashallah sheikh. Love him, but on certain matters, he's not a mujtahid. That's all I want to know. Who are mujtahid? If you're not a mujtahid, then when you become a mujtahid, then we can have your discussion about you being a part of this discussion. With me? So I said mujtahid in the case, the kibar ulama of our time. Who are the kibar ulama? If you're not from the kibar ulama, then in this matter, you're not a part of the discussion. You're not a part of the discussion. And that's being real. So we said no, after the Mashaykh who can somewhat have who have, so after the discussion I said no, who have agreed with Sheikh Albani on this matter of the ulama of the past and present. Some of the ulama mentioned the khilaf on the matter, like Ibn Rushd, Ibn Taymiyyah, but they didn't mention any names to it. So that's the thing. So what are the names of those who took that view of the ulama of the past? Where if you find one or two, it's still, they will be the odd ones of their time. If you find any name, they will still be the odd ones of their time. If you find a name, they will still be the odd one. You might find one, push it two, then I said, if this matter was not covered by the ulama before, or looked into before, never occurred before for over 1400 years, that Sabt didn't coincide with a recommended fast. And also regarding concerning Sawm Dawood, Siyam Dawood, how it occurs. What's Sawm Dawood? So every other day. So it's not going to coincide with what? A Saturday. Can you imagine a person fasting in that system and not coincide with a Saturday? Imagine that. Can you imagine that? A person fasting Sawm Dawood and not, which is jaiz, isn't it? And not coincide with a Saturday? So, so weighing up that view, you understand? So weighing up that view is somewhat a bit, he said in practicality, that view said no, but we have dalil that somewhat an issue. It's an issue.
Well, we shouldn't make
I'm listening.
we shouldn't because some of us might be like, okay, yeah, Sheikh Al-Albani is the first person to do it, so.
I'm not saying he's the first person.
No, I'm not talking about you, but like some of us listeners, for example, so because of that, we go around and we start making jidal with the person or munakasha, and we start saying, okay, this thing is new, so we start making account of the people that follow the stand.
Now, we're not saying our person may take information.
No.
You understand? That's another matter. We're not saying that people go around to have that munakasha. We're just discussing between ourselves. Now, can someone to put some light on the matter, to see things from different perspective. Now, so I said no, it's not. They say, and yes, you might have those people who take that view. We're not dismissing their view. Now, it's just putting things in a different light. If you want to take that view and come to a conclusion, then if that's upon you, and you have that right. But also to have a balance. You understand what I said? If the person look at the matter from in a holistic way, we look at all the aqwal of the ulama, what I said by the hadith, and also what I said concerning the aqwal, and you come to that conclusion, then khalas. Then if you have to be the haqq, then you should follow it. Nam, but also you might find those who said, majority said, the thing concerned that in the West, of the things that we mentioned, the matter said, in the West, I said before, that in the West of those who said the madrasa, who said the madrasa salaf as-salih, as-salafi, that of those mashaykh who have, in matters of some masail al-fiqh, that have shaped dawat al-salafiyya in the West, or the duwat al-salafiyya, not dawat al-salafiyya, the duwat al-salafiyya in the West is the views of Shaykh Albani, rahimahullah. And in some time, in matters of fiqh. So the Salafi, in most part, when you say a book in how to pray, what book would be mentioned? Sifat al-Salat, an-Nabi al-Islam by Shaykh Albani. And that becomes like the manual in how to pray. Bear in mind that some of the masail in that there's khilaf. So, as I said to you, moving the finger, I don't believe that to be authentic, because what I have seen to move the finger, and it's an issue that has been discussed by many, but we said, as Salafi, if you don't move the finger, you might question your Salafiyah. You with me? But the matter is not, you understand? But it's not about Salafi, it's about, is the hadith authentic or not? First and foremost. So you find that even that book, both said that most will see that book as the perfect way to pray. Even though there's on a academic level, Islamic level, there's masail in that book that are under discussion, were in discussion and still under discussion. With me? But a book to use, but for a person to see it as everything in it is correct and not disputable, then that's not the case. Taib. So I said these masail would be of those things concerned. For example, the matter regarding not praying in Ramadan for Taraweeh more than 11 rak'ah. That any masjid that is Salafi will not even think about exceeding 11. Go to any masjid in Salafi in the dunya, in the West, that they will not even concede exceeding what? 11 rak'ah for Taraweeh. Because Shaykh Al-Albani was clear on that view. So we agree, but is that the only view? And can you exceed? Even some of his students, from what I know, even Shaykh Ali Hassan rahimahullah, in the end, change his view. You can exceed. But said no, but so it's known how to approach these things. But said the influence was, yes, Shaykh Albani rahimahullah. Not in a negative way, but some of those masail may still need to be reviewed. And the talib al-ilm, whatever you have studied yesterday, you still need to review it again today. And you'll find that if you review any book in books of fiqh, if you review a book twice, you'll change some of your opinions. If you review any book in fiqh, I'll give you that most likely you will change some of your opinions. You will change some of your opinions. Because as you grow in knowledge and you start to see from other works and other opinions, at times it may influence, it may change your opinion. With me? So those things I said, so even says, so it doesn't mean that you were wrong yesterday. You just believe that was right yesterday, and today you believe something is right today, and you change accordingly. That's not taking upon dalal. These things occur concerning masail al-fiqh. Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi, Ahmed and Hanbal, they change their opinions on some masail. But in a way of not just change out of hawa, but you change them out of after proper research. After you've done some research and investigation to the matter. Then the person is open to reevaluate some of his position. Those things does occur. It doesn't take away from what you did in the past, nor take away from your salafiyah. Because this does occur. It does occur. So it's not, because of time factor, we started to finish before. So it's not, but the general thing is concerning that matter. So at the long run, that I said no, is look at the matter in a way which is being open-minded. Look at the matter in an open-minded way. And know that, as I said, no, there's not just a one opinion on the matter. The matter, Allahu Alam, that the person, regarding concerning Imam Malik rahimahullah, or concerning a person is allowed to fast Yawm-ul Sabt by itself for legitimate reason. Majority of the ulama, that the person fasting Yawm-ul Sabt on its own is makruh, is disliked. But if it coincides with a day which is mustahab or either recommended for the person, it's better the person can do the day before and the day after with it. But if the person was to still fast that day on its own, it's still acceptable. It's still acceptable. So for example, that next Saturday, Yawm al-Arafah, if the person was to fast that Saturday by itself, that's acceptable with some of the ulama. If the person was to combine with Jummah and Sabt, Friday and Saturday together. Now, as he are unable to do the Sunday, that Sunday will be Yawm-ul Eid. But if the both so at least, if they mention at least, the person will do so, not based upon Yawm-ul Jummah, not based upon Yawm-ul Sabt, but based upon Arafah. So in this case, it says, does nafi taqaddam ala al-ithbat? So, which gets precedent? Sabt, not fasting, and leaving away Arafah, or give precedent to Arafah over that of Sabt. So that's the matter. We said most of the contemporary ulama, Sheikh bin Baz al-Albani, Sheikh bin Baz, Ibn Uthaymeen, and all of the mashaykh, that they have the view that the person can do so for legitimate reasons. And that's the view taken by majority of ulama of the past. So that's concerning in brief. We're not going to further regarding that matter. That the general thing is regarding concerning that with this matter of the hadith itself is under some discussion. Also, what can be taken from the hadith, that fasting only on Yawm al-Sabt as a nafila fast should not be done. But if it coincides with a fast that is encouraged and mustahab, then it can be done. If the person combine that Saturday with the day before or the day after, depending on the circumstance, then that is better. But if the ulama, if the person to fast on that day by itself, then of the ulama, it is still acceptable. It is still acceptable. Yes, there's a view that says the person is not allowed. That's a view taken by a minority of the ulama. By a minority. Those of that view then, that's what they believe and that's what they should live by. That's what they believe and they should live by this. So it's just going to somewhat put some perspective on the matter. In brief. So the matter goes into a lot of detail regarding critique of the hadith. If I was to go into those matters, we'll be lost. You understand? We'll somewhat be too detailed regarding the matters of ilm al-hadith, regarding narrators and terminologies of hadith, and even sometimes how they use is going to be a bit detailed for our level. So the general thing we can somewhat just give us a general overview of some of the ulama who somewhat what they have said about the hadith. We said of the ulama of the past, as they, so it becomes no issue if in researching a matter, if the person in hadith or anything try to know what has been said by the ulama of the past, it's important to have a view to know what they have said on a matter. So if any topic arises, so either that matter is a matter been discussed by the ulama before. So the thing would be, what did they say? If the matter been discussed before by the ulama of the past, then we need to know the first line of the matter. What did they say? What's their opinion on the matter? Before we know what has been said by the ulama of contemporary times. And you'll find that today, when people discuss matters, they don't know the aqwal of the ulama of the past. So in any matter that arises, this matter, has this matter been discussed by the ulama of the past? What did they say? Then what have been said, and the ulama who came after them, after either aligned to their opinions. What did they say? Either they make tarjih, take one of those opinions, but it's important to know what have been said by the ulama of the past. And then see what have been said by the ulama of contemporary time. But it shouldn't be too far apart from what have been said by the ulama of the past. It cannot be conflicting with what have been said by the ulama of the past. Now, so that's concerned those matters. As for the ulama of contemporary side, yes, that take bearing, but it should not be in complete contrary from what have been said by the ulama before them. So that applies in matters of fiqh, also matter regarding tafsir of the Quran, that applies also matter regarding a hadith. If a hadith is being discussed regarding its grading, what is hadith discussed by the ulama of the past? Before you understand, and what did they say? And then we can somewhat then look at what have been said by the ulama of contemporary times, or latter-day times. And that's the next discussion. That's the next discussion regarding how to weigh up those aqwal of the past and the present. That's the next discussion. But that's a general overview of what this matter. With this, inshallah ta'ala, will end. وبالله تعالى توفيق وهذه إلى السبيل.